Hi everyone, it's Jen with Spirited Saturdays, and this week we're talking about going out of bounds in our recovery process. About making recovery, making the point of recovery about living life instead of just maintaining recovery, at all costs. So I think there's a point at focusing on recovery is very, very important, and it can stay that way for a long time, and it can vary depending on the person how long of a time that needs to be. And then there's another point at which maintaining that tight grasp on recovery starts to impede on the goal of living life. For those of you who are just starting out in recovery, it's important that your life is servicing your recovery in every possible way that you can make it. But I think as you get farther along in that process, every person has their own point at which they can begin to let go a little bit and begin to transition into focusing on the living aspect of recovery as opposed to just the maintenance aspect of recovery. And the real goal I think is to no longer say I'm working really hard in recovery. You can be in recovery. I mean, and people see it different ways. You can be in recovery for a very long time, and you can always consider yourself to be in recovery, and that's fine. That is an individual assessment. And people find different ways of kind of gauging their own recovery and what feels good to them, and that's fine. But it doesn't really matter what you call it. It's more about what it means to you. So you could say I'm in recovery 10 years down the road and be living a completely healthy, eating disorder-free life. And that's the ultimate point of treatment. And when you start out, yeah, you need to be very very careful. But there's a point at which I think we all need to assess, are we being careful as a way of staying safe, or are we being careful as a way of furthering our recovery? And that answer is going to be different for every person. The goal is to give up control completely. And once you do, you're free. When you start to experiment, when you start to look at food as part of life, and when you start to not know exactly what you're eating all the time, and not know exactly what's in your food all the time, or how much of this you're getting, or how much of that you're getting, and when you start to not fear that, and not let that roll over into the next day or the next meal, that's a great sign, and that's the ultimate goal. This mentality, this way of thinking, and this way of living life, what it means is that you're not prioritizing your eating disorder. You are prioritizing yourself. And sometimes that means that you may end up eating more because you need more, because something is going on, that maybe you are doing something that you really love to do, and it's making you have to stay up longer, and you're going to need more food for that, and because you get hungry. That's all so good. And when you can do that without feeling guilty, that is the point. When you can look back at a situation or an experience or a time in your life and see it as the experience and not as the food, when you come out of it with good feelings, or with rewarding feelings, rich feelings about the experience, and when that is the overriding thing that you've taken away from it, and food is just a part of that, that's amazing. And that is a great sign that you're headed in the right direction, and or that you're already there and just have to stay there. Remember that that is the goal. The food is a necessary means to enjoy your life. And so when you can kind of span out and see the whole picture and see how you have come out of this, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to be able to experience. Things fluctuate in life, so food doesn't always stay exactly the same, Weight doesn't always stay exactly the same, and that's okay. That's okay. It really is. It's really okay. As long as you're healthy, as long as you're feeling good and being true to yourself and remaining in alignment with the recovered aspects of yourself, or the recovering aspects of yourself, then it's okay to be human, and for life not to be the same all the time, and who wants that anyway? And your life has to have dynamic. It has to have a wide range of dynamic in order to be experienced fully. And food is a byproduct of that. Recovery is about finding yourself. Recovery is about finding things that are important to you, and recovery is about enjoying every aspect of life, including food, but not ending at food. Recovery is not about controlling. It's not about controlling your food. Recovery is about establishing a strong platform with food to be able to then live your life and expand and widen and that platform, and go out of bounds and go and experiment and take risks and be okay with whatever possible outcome that might bring, and not base your self-worth on whatever outcome that might bring. Celebrate yourself and honor how far you've come, and thank you for watching. Okay, bye-bye.